Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today talking about a couple news items. Technically it's one, but some other stuff as well. And so first up, we got Allen Robinson getting the franchise tag. And I saw a number of people saying, not like fans, but writers saying, oh, that was a no-brainer. And I'm not so sure that it was. I personally didn't feel that it was 100% guarantee that they would tag Robinson. I felt definitely like that was up in the air because this isn't somebody that, it was the last second, like, oh, well, we got to figure out Allen Robinson. This has been something that they've talked about and publicly talked about over the last few years. And so we knew that this deal was imminent. We knew that this situation was not one that was just going to be a wait and see. Allen Robinson made it clear that they've been negotiating, that he wanted to come back. He wanted to work. And obviously the Bears made it clear by not giving him a deal that they didn't agree with where he's thinking. And so once we got to this point, to me, it wasn't 100% certain that they were going to tag him, because if you really thought he was as valuable as some people think he is in the free agency, I feel like you would have came to a deal. Now, I don't know that you would do something crazy, and it might have been changed because of the cap and you didn't really know what was going to happen. So there's all that. But, again, I don't think that, to me, this was a foregone conclusion. And so I'm trying to look. I don't know which tag he got, if he got the exclusive tag or the non-exclusive tag, but we'll see kind of what that unfolds with, because so far, unless somebody heard something I didn't, we don't really know if this is kind of a short, procedural thing, as they like to say now, where they have a deal that they're trying to work out and get done before the season. That could be the case, or this could be we are tagging him so we can trade him later. We don't want to lose him for nothing. Or maybe they really want him to play on the tag and prove it. Now, I don't think it's a prove it type situation, because that's a lot of money, especially this year, for a prove it situation. And he's already proved it. He's proved what he is. Now, obviously, if you want to debate where he ranks in the NFL, though, you can. But as far as what type of receiver he is, you know what that is. And so, to me, it's still interesting. It's still interesting to see what they're going to do. I didn't think they thought enough of Robinson to definitely tag him. Obviously, they did. But again, this might be for another move that they're setting up, whether that be a long-term deal or if that's a trade. So I'm not sure. I think we're better with Allen. I think he's clearly our number one. He's been a safety valve. He could do, I can't say what he would do, but I would guess that with a better quarterback, he could do amazing things. But then again, a better quarterback might not force him the ball like he's been forced the ball. But I still think that's a big part of looking forward and getting the offense to where you want it to be. So to me, I like the move. I would mind a long-term contract. As I talked about the free agent wish list, I would definitely say Allen Robinson is a top priority if I'm the GM. But I understand you got to figure out a number that works for you. So we'll see. We'll see kind of how this develops. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they traded him more. I would, if you ask me to give a percentage between him being traded and him getting a long-term deal, I would probably say I'm leaning 55% him being traded. Not like, I don't think it's strong that way, but I would be leaning towards that just because the feeling I got is that they don't value him the way that others might value him. And that might be because they don't have a quarterback and they say, well, what's the point of spending this money on this receiver if we don't got a guy that can consistently get him the ball? I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if that's what they end up doing as far as trading him. But I would say, and I've said before, the type of game he has, even if speed decreases, he'll still be an effective target. And I do think going forward, whether you have a bad quarterback, a developing quarterback, a bridge quarterback, or a star quarterback, he'll be a good weapon. Speaking of quarterbacks, I'll just throw this in here because there's not really much news to this. It's just a bunch of smoke, and that's all it is with Russ Wilson and Deshaun Watson right now. But there's so much chatter about him going to the Bears. And so Dak Prescott signed his contract. Check out that video. He has an amazing contract. And so now people are like, okay, well, Cowboys aren't on the list. There's only 3 teams left on the list. A lot of people are saying that the Raiders kind of endorsing Carr says that they're not in the market. But, bro, don't get that twisted. If they actually thought they had a chance to get Russ Wilson, they do whatever they could to get their Carr out the way so Russ Wilson could come in. But some people are writing them off. So they're like, it's between the Saints and the Bears. Now, keep in mind that Russ Wilson's agent said he prefers to stay with the Seahawks. And so there's that. Not to mention he's under contract. Not to mention the Seahawks said they weren't going to trade him. Whatever. Now, all this could happen. But as of right now, we don't have a whole lot of evidence of anything. And there's people that are saying reports or rumors that the Bears offering a lot or doing this. There's other reports saying that's not true. There's all types of stuff. So a lot of people are really like geeking themselves up. Here's what I'll say. I'm actually not going to knock it all the way down. I'm not going to say that there's not a chance because one thing that I said, and Russ Wilson wasn't really, I don't think he was in the equation when I was talking about the Bears quarterback situation. But one thing I said about Deshaun Watson is that, or when I said in general, is that I'm not sure what exactly our moves are going to be because you're given a 1-year mandate, but you usually have to give up a lot of future capital in order to get somebody significant. And if you got a GM and a coach that's sitting on a 1-year leash, are the powers that be going to allow them to make any crazy moves? And so for that reason, I was like, you could eliminate some options. I said, however, if you're talking about a superstar level quarterback, or if the team considers them a superstar level quarterback, that could be different because it doesn't matter if the GM or coach stays, you have a superstar quarterback. And so kind of like, not exactly similar, but I mentioned Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert obviously is a big time talent, and it wasn't like, oh, we can't disrupt his development by getting rid of the coach. They got rid of the coach. They was like, guess what? The next coach still gonna have a really good quarterback. And so you could be in a situation where the owners are like, look, y'all still got the same mandate. We'll make this trade and get Russ Wilson. But if y'all don't win, y'all 2 is out. And then obviously they'll be having Russ Wilson with the next group. Now, that there's a lot of questions to all that. But so I'm not saying it's likely. I don't think Houston or Seattle gives up their quarterbacks. But and I don't think that the Bears are in the run-in for anything or the lead, I should say, for anything. But I will say that I don't think it's completely out of the picture because it's Russ Wilson. Now, if this was people talking about trading for a pick, or people talking about trading for, a first round pick for Sam Darnold or Jimmy G, I would say no, they're not going to let them trade a first round pick for that. And then just to see if it works and then fire everybody. But for Russ Wilson, you know what it is. And so I don't know. Last thing, Kyle Long apparently coming out of retirement. At first it was kind of a rumor, but they put him on the free agency top 101, which is weird to me. And so obviously I think they know something enough to be comfortable to do that. And I think that it's random. I mean, we've kind of seen players do this recently, but it almost never works out well. So what do I think about Kyle Long being in his 30s, leaving because of injuries, and then trying to come back at an older age? Now, obviously, they said that he recuperated, he worked out, got his body this and that, and that's fine. Yes, your body can recuperate and get strong when you're not playing, but you're coming back to play. And so does that mean that you are no longer injury prone or susceptible to injuries or what have you? I don't know. I don't think so. It's definitely not a guarantee. It's a possibility. But I mean, to me, you have the wear and tear thing is not really it's not a big thing to me, because you have the top level beyond just the facilities and medical staff and all that. You have money to get whatever the team doesn't have. So as a player, you had access to all of that. You mean to tell me that you couldn't build your quad strength or your core strength or whatever it is that you feel like is going to help you weather the injuries? You're like, oh, I did this and this, and now I think, my body's like this, and so now I could be better with injuries. A lot of people say that when they come back. And my thing is, like, you couldn't do that while you was playing? Like, while you were hurt and rehabbing? Or you couldn't say, I'm out this year, let me work on this certain type of thing? Like, I was listening to Taylor Lewan again with Bustin' with the Boys, and he was talking about like certain different things that he's done with this rehab that he's seen a lot of improvement with, and that is aimed at fixing certain things. Now, again, who's to say that's going to work? But to me, it's like when these people leave and they're like, oh, I've done this and this, and so now I'm ready to come back. Like, why would I believe there was some magical out there that you couldn't have access to in the NFL to get you ready? And then people say, well, they had a time off, so their body's not taking lumps. Yes, true. But now guess what? Your body has to go back and take lumps. So are you going to hold up? That's the question. Not are you feeling good? Not are you recuperated? We can all do that if you don't play. But when you go and play, are you going to be able to hold up? And so obviously there's the question of, we need offensive line help. Would Kyle Long want to come back to the Bears? Would the Bears be looking into him? Obviously, I don't know the answer to either of those. But as far as if it's me, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. And I know some people love Kyle Long and they might disagree, but I'm not giving him much more than the minimum. I'm not giving him much more than $1 million for a year. Because why would I invest anything into that? I don't know what just like Cam Newton coming off his injury and people being cautious. I could give you $1 million for a year and see what you do, and we could work something out if you do great, but I'm not about to just give you a real contract when you haven't played in a while, or you haven't played in a year, but you haven't played a full season in a while. And so I could not. And again, our issue is more with tackle, more so than interior. Again, we could use it. Obviously, we could use it. Daniels, Whitehair, Long, if he's effective, isn't bad at all. But we got spots to look at with the tackle joint, and so there's that. So I don't know, but let me know. What do y'all think? Do you think Kyle Long is worth bringing back? Do you think he'll be able to play? And then lastly, I mentioned this in community, but the Chiefs released both tackles. That was crazy to me. Now, they did draft Lucas Niang, and he was one of my favorite tackles from last year's draft. I think the most underrated. He didn't play because of COVID. He opted out. Now, to me, again, even though I'm excited about him as a prospect, I would have had to see him play in practice before I got rid of both my tackles. So while I think he's going to be a replacement, a good replacement, the Chiefs don't even know. He wasn't even there this year. And so I don't know. That would be interesting. So that makes me feel like something's going on with Schwartz. Like, people were talking about rumoring retirement, and he had a back injury. I'm dealing with a back injury right now. Very insignificant, but it is bad. It debilitates you really bad. And so I can only imagine for a lineman in the NFL how that could destroy things. And so people were talking about retirement. And I have to believe that's a very real possibility if the Chiefs let him go. Like, this ain't Eric Fisher. This is the regarded top right tackle in the league. And so I don't care that the cap is lower. You find a way to get him back. That's a prime position. And so I have to believe retirement might be true. And so even if it's not, it might be he's injured where it's not going to be a good recovery. And so I have to say, like, I'm not really gung-ho on Schwartz, but Eric Fisher, not the best, but better than Charles Leno. And again, I still believe if you get a left tackle and you bump Charles Leno to the right, you're a better team. Some people don't want to see Charles Leno at all, but I think you're a better team if you just make that move, get rid of Massey. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the Chiefs tackles are on the market, so that'll be interesting. All right, that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.